Hello and welcome back to Short Times. Today, we're taking a look at the 2010 fantastical adventure comedy film, The Silence. So sit back, relax, and let's go on a journey of a lifetime. The movie The Silence starts with a team of cave explorers who are investigating an uncharted subterranean system located 1,000 feet beneath Pennsylvania's Appalachian Trail. During their exploration, they mistakenly open up a vast chamber filled with countless bats that are prehistoric in origin. These bats are visually impaired and are attracted to loud noises. As a result, they begin to swarm the countryside and are nicknamed Vesps. Scene shift. In Montclair, New Jersey, 20 miles northwest of New York City, a family consisting of Hugh Andrews, his wife Kelly, their daughter Ally who is deaf, their younger son Jude, and Kelly's mother Lynn learn about the danger posed by the Vesps through a television broadcast. The Vesps are killer bats that attack when attracted by noise. The family soon realizes the need to stay quiet to avoid attracting the bats. Hugh's best friend Glenn joins the family as news of the Vesps spread starts to cause panic and death globally. With the intention of escaping the city and its dangers, Glenn and the Andrews family set out on a road trip with two vehicles. They bring along Otis, Ally's beloved dog. During the drive, Ally takes advantage of her iPad and FaceTimes with her crush Rob to discuss the ongoing crisis. However, their journey is interrupted when they stop at a gas station and are confronted by an armed man who attempts to steal one of their vehicles. In order to protect his friend and the family, Glenn shoots the man in the leg, effectively thwarting the carjacking attempt. Later, in a traffic jam on the road forces Glenn and Hugh to take an alternate route. While driving, they encounter a stampede of deer, and Glenn swerves to avoid hitting them. Unfortunately, the sudden maneuver causes his vehicle to overturn and tumble down an embankment. Despite being trapped in the wreckage of his vehicle, Glenn insists that Hugh continue on without him. At the same time, Vesps swarm Hugh's vehicle, causing panic among the family members inside. In an effort to protect his friends and loved ones, Glenn bravely draws the Vesps towards him by firing his gun. Sadly, Glenn sacrifices himself to save the others. As the family tries to escape the Vesps, they are forced to make difficult decisions. Hugh is forced to let Otis go due to his loud barking, which attracts the Vesps. Lynn's asthmatic cough also puts the family in danger as it draws a Vesp back to the vehicle. In a quick thinking move, Hugh uses a tire iron to distract the Vesp and a lighter to torch Glenn's vehicle, causing the Vesps to immolate themselves. With their vehicle no longer usable, the family must hike into the forest on foot. They come across a fenced cabin compound, but their hopes of finding safety are quickly dashed when the elderly owner comes outside and threatens them with a shotgun. Unfortunately, the Vesps attack and kill the owner, leaving the family with limited options. In an effort to get past the fence and find safety, Hugh and his family crawl through a drained tunnel. Unfortunately, their journey is far from over, as a hissing rattlesnake attracts the Vesps, leading to Kelly being bitten and clawed on her legs. In a moment of quick thinking, Hugh activates a wood chipper, which draws the Vesps to their deaths. Once they finally make it inside the cabin, they focus on treating Kelly's wounds. Ally, who is deaf, uses her iPad to FaceTime with Rob and learns that his situation is rapidly deteriorating. Lynn shares with Hugh and Ally that Kelly's infection will only get worse if they don't treat her with antibiotics. With Jude staying behind to look after Kelly and Lynn, Hugh and Ally venture into a deserted town to retrieve the necessary medical supplies. Their journey is filled with danger as they escape another Vesp encounter. Along the way, they meet a man who calls himself the Reverend, who asks them to join his cult called the Hushed. Despite his persuasive attempts, Hugh and Ally politely decline and return to the cabin. As the situation becomes more dire, Ally shares some crucial information with her father. She tells him that according to a CNN broadcast, the Vesps have an aversion to extreme cold, and people are surviving by heading north to colder climates. Ally also mentions areas known as the Gray, which are dead zones with no electricity or communication with the outside world. Her crush, Rob, later texts her to say that he is traveling north to a sanctuary called the Refuge. However, their peaceful refuge is short-lived as the Reverend returns to the cabin with several followers in tow. Despite his attempts to convince them to join the Hushed, Hugh refuses and pulls a shotgun on him, forcing him to leave. Later that night, a young girl shows up at the cabin and Hugh lets her inside. The family realizes she is a part of a group called the Hushed when they notice her missing tongue. The girl has a vest full of cell phones, which suddenly start ringing and attract a swarm of Vesps that break into the cabin. During the chaos, several members of the Hush try to take Ally. Lynn successfully rescues Ally from the kidnappers outside the cabin. She bravely sacrifices herself by screaming loudly, which attracts the Vesps towards her and the abductors, giving Ally a chance to escape. Meanwhile, Hugh and Kelly team up and fiercely fight against the attackers, finally putting an end to the Reverend's dangerous cult. The four of them make their way towards the north, until they finally reach the sanctuary known as the Refuge. Ally is overjoyed to be reunited with Rob, and they start learning how to hunt the Vesps, so that they can continue to survive in this new world. They work together to adapt their skills and find ways to stay safe in the face of this deadly epidemic. Overall, The Silence is a thrilling and suspenseful movie that will have you gripping your seat. With its well-developed characters, non-stop action, and twists and turns, it's a must-watch for fans of post-apocalyptic films. So, make sure to give it a watch and let us know in the comments what you thought of the movie. Until next time, this is Short Times signing off.